How's it going, YouTube? Links Forte here, bringing you my first battle of the NPL, National Pokeball League qualification tournament. We're still in the group rounds. I'm going up against Eric here, and when I was prepping for his team, it really, especially all my opponents actually, it really brought out, me trying to be creative. Suicune, for instance, it's fully offensive, max HP, max special attack with an assault vest. I felt I needed that mostly for the Shaman, maybe Pidgeot in some sense, and it helped me think outside the box. I was able to run Ice Beam, which, Ice was a really good move against his team. In fact, Gliscor is carrying Ice Fang, Knockoff, Earthquake, and Roost. So, when I was looking at his team, I said, I need as much ice as possible. Mega Magnetric normally carries HP Ice. In fact, this one is modest because nothing on his team outspeeds Mega Magnetric naturally. Even at a modest nature, nothing can outspeed it, so I went ahead for that. The only thing I had to worry about was anything being Choice Scarf. And he has 3 great Pokemon that could be Choice Scarf, and Crocodile, Necrozma, as well as Salamence. I don't remember what his other 2 Pokemon were, but I'm not having to worry about it in this battle, obviously. Sylveon is 240 HP, max special attack, modest, and the rest is in defense, choice specs. So I always say nothing wants to take a choice specs modest hyper voice. So that's why I love Sylveon. Darmanitan is choice scarf, flare blitz, U-turn, EQ, and rock slide. And Kartana, I decided to put defog on Kartana because I didn't have it to fit on Gliscor for beginners, and at the same time I felt like I would need it just in case I was forced to do a lot of switching around. And Kartana's other 3 moves are Leaf Blade, Smart Strike, and Sacred Sword. So let's get into the battle, see how everything played out. And so to begin off, I wasn't sure exactly what he wanted to lead with and what I wanted to lead with. So I just decided to go out with Sylveon and get off any damage that I could. And he leads off with his Mega Pidgeot. And I'm thinking, I'm going to hit this thing hard. And he actually goes for the U-turn and he brings in Necrozma. And this Hyper Voice hits him for 79% damage. And I'm just thinking, okay, now he's going to get his rocks up. Let me go into Kartana and defog them away. He actually switches out into Tentacruel. So I just get off the Leaf Blade and get a critical hit. And he has eject button Tentacruel, and I'm thinking that's something different. But I don't want to take a Hurricane from this Pidgeot that he brings in, so I'm going to go in Suicune with the Assault Vest to take this hit. And now I'm just going to reveal that I have Ice Beam, and he does go for the U-turn once again. I guess seeing that damage, he didn't feel like it was a great matchup for him. But luckily, he brings in the Shaman. Like I said, nothing on his team wants to take the hit. Unfortunately, I get a freeze, but because Shaman has Natural Cure, it does kind of force him to switch out instead of taking another hit. At this point, I'm going to bring in Darmanitan, thinking that Shaman would just stay in, and Tentacruel comes in. It's not really a matchup I want because I don't know if he's going to switch or anything like that. So he goes into Salamence, right? After I U-turn out and go into Gliscor, I had a decision to make. I was thinking about revealing. Like I don't know how long it took me to make this decision on this turn, but I really wanted to reveal that I had Ice Fang. But I was looking at his team and, I was thinking Tentacruel may be low, but I think it could take a hit. And Tentacruel does naturally outspeed Gliscor. So if he's carrying enough speed investment to outspeed me, it would be difficult for, me to come back from that. Then I'm playing on the defensive at that point. And I feel like I feel like I have him on the back. So I wanted to make sure I kept up any momentum I had. So I felt like, my best play here was to just go for a knockoff. At the same time, I got to see what item this Salamence was carrying, so I was happy to find out it wasn't a Choice Scarf, it was just leftovers. So I decided my best play was to go for the knockoff, and in comes Necrozma with the Colbur Berry, and I look at it and I'm saying, no big deal, it's low enough, I can just go for a knockoff again. I don't have to, play around with an Earthquake or anything like that. He goes into Pidgeot, and I don't want to take an Hurricane, so I'm going into Sylveon this time to take the hit. Does less than half, so I figure I can get off a Hyper Voice on anything, and he goes into Tentacruel just to sack it off. And now I was kind of curious as to what he would go into, and he does actually go into Crocodile. And seeing at the health I am, he knows that an Earthquake is going to take me out, So I had a decision to make. Did I want to just let Sylveon go down? I kind of felt like Sylveon still had some usefulness. It could take at least another hit from that Pidgeot and scare it out. Anything that wanted to come in later, you know, it put his team at a disadvantage. Anytime something comes in, it was either going to die or it was taking a huge hit. So ultimately, I decided that I need to switch out, go into Gliscor. I don't know if he had anything for Gliscor, so I just brought it in, and this is where I decided to reveal the Ice Fang. And unfortunately here he gets frozen again, and I'm just like, the hacks is ridiculous. Like, the one time I can understand the hacks is when Kartana got the crit for Leaf Blade, because it has a high chance to crit. But I've frozen 2 of his Pokemon in this battle, and I'm just thinking, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what else I can say about that. I think the one on Shaman did matter. You know, during the battle, I was thinking, you know, the one on Shaman didn't matter because it has Natural Cure, but it forced him to switch out, whereas he could have gained some momentum there. The one on Crocodile mattered because I don't know what he could have done here. He could have probably gained momentum here as well. I don't know what Crocodile has for Gliscor. Before I even brought Gliscor in, I looked at Crocodile's moveset, and I know it doesn't have any ice moves, so I don't know, you know, maybe he had like Smackdown. I don't know if Crocodile gets Smackdown, but maybe he had Smackdown, so then he could start hitting me with Earthquakes. But it was just ridiculous. And I felt also, just to go back to the Ice Fang play, I felt this was the best time for me to go for Ice Fang. Just because nothing on his team can resist it now. Everything is weak to it. So that was my best play there. And now I'm thinking, okay, well, he's frozen. I don't have to go for Ice Fang anymore. I could just start clicking Earthquake. Then I'm thinking he was going to stay in. Unfortunately, he goes into Pidgeot. And I started thinking, you know what? I don't need Gliscor anymore. I'll let it go down. And I don't know if he went for HP Electric or HP Ground. But I didn't need to switch out there. I still have Suicune with an Ice Beam. I still have Mega Magnetric with a Hidden Power Ice. I still have a Choice Scarf Darmanitan back there. So there was no real reason in my eyes that I needed to switch out. So I just go for another Ice Fang. He's going to Hurricane me. That does less than half. So I'm really thinking Gliscor has a great matchup here. Gliscor can win this battle. And I decided I'm just going to roost up here. And unfortunately, he decides to roost up as well. So now I'm starting to think, okay, when he gets low enough, he's probably going to start roosting. So I'm going to Ice Fang here, and I'm thinking that I can probably catch him right here with an Earthquake. And that's in fact that's exactly what happened. He goes for another roost, and I'm just going to click Earthquake again. And so now I have the mind games with him. So I no longer see a reason to ever go for Earthquake again, because now that he's at 17%, he's probably thinking that I'm going to go for Earthquake. And like I said, I no longer needed Gliscor at this point, so I allow it to go down to a Hurricane. And now I'm on the offensive again. So I'm going to bring in Mega Magnetric. Again, his entire team is weak to Ice. There's no reason for me to click Thunderbolt. So I'm just going to click Hidden Power Ice. And it almost takes the Crocodile out from where it was. There's no reason for me to do anything else there. He just lets the Crocodile go down. And now he's going to bring in Shaman. I was fearing this Shaman to be Choice Scarf, so I decided that I needed to switch out. And I looked at my team, and I no longer needed Sylveon. So that's the play I decided to make. I strongly considered going into Suicune, but at the same time, I didn't want to take a Seed Flare that he may have predicted. So he is in fact going to go for the Earth Power, and Sylveon can take 2 of those. So I decided to leave Sylveon in, and I'm just going to click Hyper Voice and take the Shaman out. And I no longer need Sylveon, so I'm going to allow him to bring his Pidgeot in. But at the same time, he has to attack me, otherwise something dies. Because I know Pidgeot can't take that hit. And I'm pretty sure he knew it even after Roost. So here, I kind of looked at his team and said, you know, I really wanted to use Darmanitan. I really did. But there was no reason. At this point, I just kind of looked at it and said, I have this win. So I just go for Hidden Power Ice. Just in case he wanted to switch. Really, there was no reason for me to go for anything else. He brings in Salamence, and another HP Ice is actually going to take it out. So that's the game. Good game, Eric, man. Again, I'm sorry for the hacks. The only one I don't know if I can really apologize for is the Leaf Blade, because it has a high chance to crit. But The freezes were just ridiculous. Like 2 freezes, you almost never see that. You almost never see 1 freeze. To get 2 in a battle, it's ridiculous. Anyway, you guys, go check out Eric. I'll put his channel in the description. This is Link's Forte. I'm out. Peace.